Guys, welcome to Happy Wax TV. So I got this movie sent to me a couple days ago and I finally got around to watching it. And I'll tell you, it's movies like this that they really get under my skin. Just for the fact that, I mean, I bet you shit like this actually goes on in real life, and it's actually quite scary. So anyways, the movie we're talking about today is called Level 16, and it's directed by Danishka Esterhazy. I hope I said her name correctly. And it's right away, this movie's a fucking winner because it's Canadian, and it was filmed in Toronto, just down the road from me. So, I mean, right there, it's getting bonus points. But basically, there's the main cast is Katie Douglas, who plays Vivian, Selena Martin, who plays Sophia, and then Sarah Canning as Miss Brixel, and Peter Outerbridge as Dr. Miro. And those are the main stars in this movie. And then there's like a cast of like a whole slew of girls and some security guards and stuff like that. But basically, this takes place, it's kind of like a, when you first, okay, so how do I explain this so it makes sense? So it's like a boarding school for girls, almost like a / prison, the way they treat them, but they're never allowed to leave this place. So, or at least not until they're 16-ish, 17, something like that. So I don't think they actually say when they get these girls in, but there's different levels, right? So I don't know what the first level is, but eventually they work up to level 16, and then that's when these girls are given the opportunity, supposedly, to be adopted by wealthy families. They let them know so that they can have a great life. But until then, they're not allowed to go outside. They never actually even see the outside. Every once in a while, they have what's called moving picture nights, where they're allowed to watch like really old movies. And I think they only show them like one or two, and they just repeat them. But that's really the only glimpse of the outside world that they really get. They're not allowed to read. None of them can read. And they're really big on keeping the girls clean. Like every day they have to take these vitamins and wash themselves. Not fully, like they don't show that sort of stuff, but they, wash your face and stuff. It's all, cleaning their face and all this sort of stuff, and the rest of them as well. Really big on that. And then, they just... I understand why they do it now. At the beginning, I was like, why the fuck is that even an issue? But they have these laws where, you're not allowed to question or, create any type of anxiety or anger or anything like that. It's just they always want them calm, and stuff like this. And that in the first act, there's a lot going on here, and you're wondering like, why is this? Why is this? Do you know what I mean? And it's crazy. And then you've got this Miss Brixel, played by Sarah Canning, who's kind of the, I guess the student master, I guess. So, and she comes in. The girls have to line up in a row, head down, sort of thing. It's very militant, I guess, if that's the correct word, the way they run this school. And again, they're never allowed to go outside. And as far as I could tell, they pretty much just stay on the level that they get graded up to. And it's a fucking, I'll tell you, man, the whole first act, you're like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And this is a movie where you can't give spoilers for it all, just because it would ruin it. But I mean, this movie does follow the guide: first act, second act, and then third act. So, I mean, the first act, you're kind of introduced to these girls, the main character, Vivian, and Sophia, you know what I mean? And then there's all these questions that the movie brings up, like, why are they even here? What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? All this sort of stuff. Why aren't they allowed out? Everything like that. Then the second act is more of the questions kind of start to get answered a little bit. Again, I don't want to say anything. I know this is going to be a horrible review because, again, the more you give to this movie, the lesson or the less it'll make for the viewer. So, but I mean, the second act is questions kind of get answered, and then the third act is the reveal and stuff like that, and and what happens and why these girls are actually there and stuff like that. So, but I like this movie. I really did. Now, I'm just going to say this now, and I'm going to say this to all the people that watch me. This is not a horror movie. Well, I guess it is, kind of, in the sense that what happens to these girls is horrific, really. Excluding the ending, even just living in a condition like this is fucking horrific. I mean, it just makes me hate the filthy rich even more. And it's sad because honestly, I think, places like this actually exist. Maybe not to this extreme, but it's quite sad to think, with all the trafficking and all that shit you hear about on the news and stuff that actually happens. I wouldn't doubt that something like this actually fucking takes place, to be God honest with you, like black market bullshit and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, man. It's just, I have a daughter. I have a 16-year-old, 16-year-old. She's 16 now. Isn't that awful? She just turned 16. But I mean, this movie kind of got at me a little bit, just thinking, what if my daughter was put in this position? I'd fucking kill these people without even hesitation if I ever got my hands on them, like, no question. But it's just, I don't know, man. And then to find out what they're actually doing with the girls at the end, it's just, wow. So I don't know. I did like this movie, and what I really did like about it, the acting was fantastic. The pace is really slow. So what I was getting at before I got off of my little tangent there was this, for my viewers anyways, I like to do a lot of horror movies and stuff like that. This is not a horror movie, like, per se. And like I said, if you consider what happened to the girls, I guess it is a horror movie, but it's a horrific movie, I guess is what you'd want to call it. But it's not very fast paced. So, I mean, you're not going to be sitting there on the edge of your seat going, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's not one of those movies. It is definitely a slow burn that has a payoff at the end. But even the payoff isn't, you're not going to jump up and you know what I mean? Like, it's a slow, well acted, pretty cool looking, the way it's shot and the sets and stuff, and even the way, like, it's a cool kind of movie. You know what I mean? If you look at it, even the way they've saturated everything, it got that kind of blue, kind of gray hue to it. So everything looks depressing because this is not a happy setting for these girls at all. So everything about this movie is blue and gray. Like, they do a great job of really making you feel depressed through this movie. So I hope that's what they were going for, because if it did, it worked. Because I mean, this is a fucking depressing movie, really, if you think about it. So, but it's nice too. Vivian and Sophia, the two, I guess, main stars of this movie, don't like. Well, poor Sophia. I mean, whatever. She made a mistake, and it cost Vivian at the beginning of the movie, and Vivian's kind of held a grudge throughout. But midway through the second act, right into the end, they really bond together and help each other out when need be. So, but I don't want to say any more. So, I like this movie. If I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like maybe a 7.5 out of 10. You won't find it in theaters. It got a very small release in the States. I don't know why. It's a Canadian movie. I don't understand why, or it's filmed in Canada, why they didn't play it over here. I think it played at a film festival in Toronto, I believe, in September, I think. But no theatrical run over here. But it is on video on demand now, so I'm assuming you can get it on iTunes or Google Play or anywhere else in Canada that you get your movies from on those platforms. So, but I would definitely watch this movie. But again, just don't expect it to be on the edge of your seat, biting your nails. It's not one of those kind of movies. It's just kind of slow, kind of a burn with a kind of a horrific story, especially if you have kids. But I don't know. Check it out. And if you've seen it, let me know what you think of this one. And if you haven't seen it, go find it, watch it, and then come back here and let me know, because I'm curious to see your guys' take on this flick and to see if you liked it as much as I did. Some of the reviews that I did read are kind of very, very loosely comparing it to A Handmaid's Tale. I've never seen that movie, so I've heard it's great, but I've never watched it. So, I mean, that right there maybe is a spoiler in itself. But a lot of reviewers are talking about that, kind of comparing this to that sort of thing. So maybe I should watch A Handmaid's Tale. I've never seen it. But anyways, I guess that's it for this one. They have a Facebook page. I'm going to link it in the description box so you can jump over there and say hi to them. And I got to, just very quickly too, what really does make this movie awesome, or that I liked anyways, is the acting. You really do care about these girls in the depressing scenario, and just how scared they actually are to fuck up, because when they do make a mistake, then they have to deal with the prison guards, and then they get taken downstairs and shit happens to them like as punishment, and they don't want that. So, But yeah, you really do feel for these girls, and that's because the acting is just, it's stellar in this movie. It really is good. So anyways, movie's called Level 16. Definitely check it out. It's available now. And yeah, let me know what you think of this one. And as always, guys, stay scared.